If I were to describe how I teach and what dancing is, and I would say across many different techniques, I would include lines and circles in the limbs and in the paths that the limbs make, a lengthening and a folding, rhythm, and weight. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to show effort, show weight, show presence, show sweat. To me, that yields a bit more of a human perspective to dancing. And not just in the performance, but in the training. And I think the two are inextricably linked. I think the way we train ends up being, in many ways, the way we can perform. Some of these principles that start in what we call a dance technique class, I think are very important. They're not just stretching the muscles and getting on balance and figuring out how to turn. They're figuring out how to be in your body with other people around. And that's what I get so excited about dancing. By and large, I really like to make a class experience a joyous and communal one where you can strive for the most incredible excellence, but also have a lighter spirit. A student came up to me today. She says, I end up getting down on myself. It might be because there's a lot of people not only in this class, but at a festival. And I start doubting. And I told her that the first festival, or maybe the second festival I went to, I almost vanished. I lost almost every bit of confidence. My mentor, Daniel Negrin, he looked me straight in the face and said, Dorfman, where'd you go? You're disappearing. Come back. I said, oh, that woke me up. I think that was, it was a 6-week festival. It was down at the American Dance Festival, and it might have been in week 3. And by week 6, I think I came back. And I think that's another thing that I'm trying to do, and I do it through humor, is give everyone kind of, as corny as it sounds, the self-esteem to grow in a class. Which brings me to another thought about technique even, again, I think we associate it with a more kind of Western mentality of modern, postmodern dance that's kind of a reaction to ballet, for example, right? And everything has a technique. And I always try to liken life to dance. There's a technique to personal hygiene. There's a technique to cooking. There's a technique to making a relationship work. There's a technique to everything. And so sometimes people think that, well, improvisation is improvisation, doesn't really have a technique. Or maybe, certain kind of social dance or world dance, not a technique. I mean, you learn a few steps, then you kind of know it. But but those pliés and the ritual of ballet and modern dance, like that's a technique. And it's like, no, everything's a technique. And so I feel that I teach a very non-standard technique class because we might just walk around for a while. But I like that, related to the piece that we just performed at Bates, Prophets of Funk, the everyday people, okay, to quote Sly and the Family Stone song title, the everyday people quality of just passing someone and actually passing everyone that's in the class. There's something about a group of students staring solely at the mirror, and usually at themselves in the mirror, that alienates me, and I feel that it can potentially alienate students. So if I can get the whole room multidimensional from the very start, I feel I have a little bit of an advantage going into teaching the class. And so that is also a technique. And it's amazing to see folks sometimes having difficulty with that. And folks that come in and think, well, the real thing is the, parallel to the ground, rond de jambe, or, holding a leg extension. Well, of course, that's unbelievably difficult. But there's other skills and other techniques that are also difficult to make this holistic, well-rounded embodiment of dance. And that's more what I'm going for with my pedagogy.